Hey everybody, I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and today we're going to be talking about Behringer pedals and if they're any good. Today with me I got one of the SF300 Super Fuzz pedals that's like a clone of the Boss FC2. So today we're just going to talk about Behringer pedals, why they're so cheap, if they're good, and if they sound like the pedals they're cloning. We're going to hear a little sound clip, so stick around. Before we get started, you might want to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the weekly videos that we put out, and hit that notification bell. Every week we put out videos like this, and I just want to say a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters that help this channel be possible. Let's hear a quick clip comparing the Behringer SF300 to the Boss FC2. Just want to let everyone know for this video we're using Fuzz Mode 2 on the Boss and the Behringer. Alright, so they sound really close. With that in mind, I just want to talk a little bit about maybe the cons of a Behringer pedal, because obviously it's a good thing that you could get these rare pedals that are sold used for several $100s for 30 to 50 bucks. So I guess one of the downsides, and kind of like the way they design to make the pedals that price, is they use a plastic enclosure, and like the pots are plastic, and everything that they can do on this pedal to make it cheaper to manufacture, they do. So sometimes the foot switch breaks. I've heard people breaking the pedal. I haven't had too many problems with them, but it definitely happens. So they just make the packaging and anything they can do on the circuit in a way to where it's cheap to manufacture and fast to build. The jacks are mounted right to the circuit board. The pots are mounted right to the circuit board. They're pretty hard to modify and take apart. A lot of people talk about like, oh, I'll just rehouse this into a pedal, and then you never hear from them again, because after they open up the pedal, they realize it's a lot more work than they expected. So I don't want to call it a con, but the way these pedals are so affordable is because of the way they're built and they're designed. They're designed with the first goal in mind to be an affordable price point for guitar players. So goal one is to make the pedal $50 or under. So they have to design in a way where they keep that design constraint in mind at all times. So we get a plastic box. It's not built quite as well. Definitely harder to work on and repair, but at the end of the day, it's still a really good pedal and it sounds good. So drop a comment below. I'm curious to know what you think of Behringer pedals, if you own any, and what you thought of the SF300 compared to the Boss FC2. I think they sound really similar. So I want to talk a little bit about the people that I think might like Behringer pedals versus the people that wouldn't. If you're someone that really wants to try out some classic pedal like a Boss FC2 or a HM2, and you don't want to spend a couple $100 to try it out, because like some of these pedals are pretty like aggressive and harsh sounding and definitely not for everyone, I think grabbing a Behringer pedal is a decent idea for you. Like for 30 bucks you can try out and get an idea of what a Boss FC2 sounds like. So if you want to play like Monolord, Electric Wizard, things like that, that'll get you that tone really quick. If you're someone that likes to collect things and you gotta have the original box and all the stuff that came with, and you want the same pedal because Joss from Electric Wizard used the Boss FC2 on a certain recording, and you're trying to have the same everything as him, you're definitely gonna want the Boss pedal. And no matter how good these things sound, you're not gonna be happy at the end of the day because it's not the real thing. So I'm not saying there's a right or wrong either way. Like if you just want to try out different pedals and not dump a bunch of money into it, that's cool. If you are someone that's like into the collecting of the pedal and the stories and the history behind it, and that you got something rare on a good deal, all this kind of stuff, then the original pedals and the history behind them is what you need. But as someone that builds pedals for a living, I just kind of want to shed some light on that, because a lot of people talk about Behringer pedals, if they're good, if they're bad, should they get them and then rehouse them to make them better? And you know, I think they are just what they are. And if you want to try out some cool circuits and kind of taste test some different things, then that's for you. You might grab one and then decide that, like, I love this sound and I think I'm going to go ahead and spend the $250 on that used Boss FC2 still in that has the original packaging with it. So I'm Jason from Fuzzlord Effects. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and drop a comment below and let me know what you think about Behringer pedals and what one of your favorites are. I will go ahead and say that this SF300 is one of my favorite pedals for the price. I still think having the Boss FC2 is a really cool thing to have, and my personal favorite is the Fuzzlord FU2, which is the Fuzzlord version of those pedals. So I'll talk to you all in the comments. I appreciate you watching, and until next week, I hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next video. Also, I wanted to give a big thank you to all of our Patreon supporters that help make this channel possible. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and if you want to know more about supporting the channel, you can hit the link in the description to our Patreon page. One last thing before we wrap it up, just want to give a big thank you to the producer level Patreon supporters that really go the extra mile and contribute to the channel. So that is Jeremy, Milo, David, Troy, Rustin, and Steve from Does It Noom. Really appreciate you folks. I look forward to talking to you in the comments, and I will see you next week.